Archaeology Breakthroughs 2025. Spain Face, Fossil and Egyptian Tombs. In the summer of 2025, two discoveries shook the world of archaeology and captured global attention. One emerged from the rugged hills of northern Spain, where a fossilized human face, one of the oldest and most complete ever uncovered in Europe, stared back at researchers from across nearly 1.4 million years of history.
Archaeologists have discovered the oldest human ancestor fossil in Western Europe, found in northern Spain back in 2022. The partial skull, dating back 1.1 to 1.4 million years, includes a section of the left cheekbone and upper jaw. This marks the first significant remains older than 1 million years in the region.
The other lay deep beneath the sands of Egypt, where archaeologists uncovered a series of hidden tombs filled with treasures, inscriptions, and symbols that could rewrite our understanding of Egypt's old kingdom. Together, these finds represent not just scientific milestones, but also a reminder of how little we truly know about the story of humanity. The fossil in Spain was discovered at the Atapuerca site, already one of the most famous archaeological landscapes in the world. Atapuerca has yielded countless fossils, stone tools, and fragments of ancient humanity. But in 2025, a discovery stunned even the most seasoned experts: an almost complete facial fossil of a hominin, preserved in extraordinary detail. Unlike the shattered skull fragments archaeologists usually deal with, this fossilized face had intact bone structure. The shape of the brow, the curve of the cheek, even the suggestion of a jawline. It was as though a person from a forgotten species had been frozen in stone, waiting for us to look them in the eye. Scientists immediately recognized the importance. This fossil was dated to more than 1.4 million years ago, pushing back the timeline of early humans in Europe. It belonged not to Homo sapiens, but to one of our predecessors, perhaps Homo antecessor, or a still unknown lineage.
You might find some new fossil like 10 years from now. They might find some new site, and wait a minute, these are 20,000 years old, or these are 30,000 years old, or these are 50,000 years old. But either way, anatomically identical human beings have been around for 500,000 plus years, maybe even more. Or similar human beings.
And this is where the story takes a forbidden turn. The facial features did not entirely match existing species. Some argued the fossil represented a transitional form, a missing link bridging earlier hominins with later European populations. Others whispered it might even be evidence of a separate branch of humanity, one erased by time and absorbed into myth. The implications were staggering. If this fossil indeed represents a distinct lineage, then the history of Europe is not a simple story of migration from Africa. Instead, Europe may have nurtured its own human branches, developing in parallel before merging or vanishing. It challenges the tidy narrative of linear evolution. It suggests a messier, more complex past, one where multiple human groups coexisted, interbred, and perhaps even competed for dominance. For forbidden history enthusiasts, it raises a tantalizing possibility. What if legends of giants, strange ancestors, or forgotten races are distant memories of these lost human cousins? But the fossil was not alone. Analysis revealed microscopic wear on the teeth, hinting at diet. Sediment samples surrounding the fossil contained traces of pollen, revealing the environment in which this individual lived. A green, forested Europe alive with animals long since extinct. DNA recovery is still in progress, but preliminary findings hint at genetic markers not seen in other hominin groups. If confirmed, this could spark one of the greatest debates in anthropology. Did Europe once harbor an entirely separate human species? Thousands of miles away, another discovery unfolded in Egypt, one that seemed ripped straight from legend. Near the necropolis of Saqqara, archaeologists uncovered a cluster of sealed tombs untouched for over 4,000 years. Unlike many Egyptian tombs that had been looted in antiquity, these chambers were pristine. Inside, researchers found painted sarcophagi, golden amulets, and ritual vessels carved with symbols never before recorded. Hieroglyphic inscriptions spoke of forgotten priests, star gods, and rituals performed to open the hidden gates.
How long does it take before you have this level of sophistication that allows you to get to the pyramids? We're not even anywhere near that now. We're nowhere near the level of sophistication that it took them to build, and we're just guessing as to what kind of technology they had available to them. And as you pointed out, with these vases and with the sophistication that's involved in the construction to get stones that are tons of stone.
Well, there's 1,000-ton stones.
There's that you can't even get a razor blade in between. Like, what the was going on?
What made the discovery extraordinary was the sheer preservation. The walls of the tombs still glowed with pigments, deep blues, vivid reds, and bright yellows, as though painted yesterday. Skeletal remains revealed individuals of unusual stature, taller than typical Egyptians of the era, buried with ornate headdresses and staffs. Among the most striking finds was a papyrus fragment describing a ritual to summon light from the heavens, a phrase that has sparked heated debates among scholars. Was this symbolic religious language or evidence of forgotten scientific knowledge? In 2025, technological advances allowed archaeologists to scan these tombs in unprecedented detail. LIDAR and 3D imaging revealed chambers hidden behind walls, suggesting entire networks of passages waiting to be uncovered. Ground-penetrating radar hinted at voids beneath the necropolis, possible burial sites of figures whose names never appeared in official dynastic records. Some researchers quietly speculated that these could be the tombs of lost kings or priestly orders erased from official history. The mainstream interpretation is cautious. Experts argue the tombs likely belong to local elites, priests, and temple administrators, their wealth and burial rites reflecting their high status. But the presence of unusual symbols, spirals, star maps, and depictions of non-human figures challenges this narrative. Some of the symbols resemble constellations not visible from Egypt at the time, raising questions about their astronomical knowledge. Others appear almost mechanical, leading forbidden archaeology theorists to speculate about connections with lost technologies. When viewed together, the discoveries in Spain and Egypt highlight a central truth. Our history is far from complete. In Spain, we are forced to confront the possibility of unknown human ancestors, their faces staring at us across 1,000,000 years. In Egypt, we face the question of whether entire dynasties or traditions were deliberately erased, their tombs hidden until chance and persistence brought them back to light. Both finds shatter the illusion that history is a finished story. Instead, it is a puzzle with missing pieces, pieces that keep turning up in the most unexpected places. These discoveries also remind us how fragile history is. In Spain, one fossilized face opens a window onto a world we barely understand. In Egypt, one sealed chamber preserves rituals that would otherwise have been lost. And both force us to ask uncomfortable questions. How much do we not know? How many stories remain buried beneath soil, stone, and sea? And what will happen to our own civilizations if future archaeologists stumble across them thousands of years from now? For the viewer, these are not just archaeological facts. They are stories. Stories of forgotten lives, hidden rituals, and mysteries waiting to be unraveled. And in the end, perhaps that is what makes archaeology so captivating. It doesn't just uncover the past. It challenges the present, and it dares us to imagine a future where our own history is rewritten again and again. As we close the chapter on these breakthroughs of 2025, we are left with a final, haunting thought. If discoveries like this can emerge in a single year, what else lies hidden? What other faces are still buried in stone, waiting for their moment to stare back at us? What other chambers lie sealed beneath the desert sands, waiting to tell their forbidden stories? The answers may change everything we think we know, and they may arrive sooner than we expect.